Hello, everyone. Welcome. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Um, I want to start by saying that we're gonna be reacting to a video, a very specific video that I recently just found, by a Gen Z content creator known as Drama Queen, and yeah, of I'm seeing a lot of Gen Z shit. Just like a lot of Gen Z-ness being like targeted and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of a fucked up video, but it's very truthful with what it's talking about and stuff like that. It's talking about how Gen Zers are just like not wanting to work, and it's not necessarily that we're not wanting to work. It's more that we kind of can't work because the more that we try, the more that they want from us, and the more that it's energy draining, it's physically draining, it's mentally draining. It's just generally draining altogether. I'm saying this from someone who once worked at a Sam's Club. I worked as a cart guy, and I was pretty good at my job. I was very good at my job. My family saw it; they were proud of me. My workers saw it; they were proud of me. Like everyone who I was working with and who I was like seeing and stuff like that, they all gave me good energy. They were all bright. They were all like positive. They were all doing good. But like the more that I worked, the more that I did, the more that I did, the more that they were expecting even more from me, and I was just like, "Excuse me? I'm doing as much as I can. Like I'm not trying to do less. I'm not trying to do more. I'm just trying to do as much as I can. And if that's not enough, I'm sorry, but like that's how I work, you know. Basically like what they expect me to do. And that's what they expected me to do. I was cart assistant. Basically what that meant was I was the guy who would just like help the cart guys push the carts and also get the stuff that they couldn't get, like the flatbeds. I was the flatbed guy basically, and like I had a couple of workers there. There were two of them that were very very kind to me. One of them that had issues with him. Two of them that technically had issues with me, and one of them that I actually enjoyed working with. But like I was helping wherever I could. I would be getting groceries for other people. I would be helping with the door. I would be helping with the indoor carts. Like I would be fucking popping off one step after the other, and I was just like, okay, so all I need to do is do this for most of the week, and we should be good. So like that's what I did. I did what I could, what I needed to, and I would clock out and I would head home. That was my schedule for about 3 to 6 months. It felt like 3 months. I'm pretty sure it was 3 months of me working there. This was in 2022. It's been 3 years since I've had a job because the job economy has gone to shit. It has gone to fucking shit. So that's my 2 cents on it. That's my story on it. I'm just gonna go ahead, focus on this, and just kind of state my opinion because there's a lot that I have to say and a lot that I need to say. Um, like I literally skipped an ad that was about a school shooting, not because it was about a school shooting or anything like that. RIP those students and everything like that. But like because of the more importance of the topic, because like it's said in the video, right? She's talking about how like the older generation and stuff expects us to be able to do exactly what they did years ago, but like they're blind. To sum it up, they're fucking blind. They're ignorantly, consciously blind. Like they consciously blind themselves. They consciously ignore the things that are the real issues here, and they just think that it's okay to fight back whenever they don't need to fight back. You'll see what that means later on through audio, because this is mainly a talking video. But like I'm gonna be talking with her. Shout out to Drama Queen for making the video. And I do appreciate your opinion on this. It's very helpful and it's very useful for a lot of people who are possibly struggling with this sort of knowledge and stuff like that. So here we go.
We could buy houses for Gen Zs just don't want to work like how we had to back in the day, where we could buy houses for cashews and nuts. One income could sustain an entire family, and maybe his wife did everything around the house.
So as she's talking about this, there's multiple missions of like older times where it was like you could get a house for like 1,600 or some shit like that, or like 16,000 or something, like really, 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 really cheap. But it's not like that anymore. A house nowadays costs like over $500,000 in New Mexico. You know, like it costs from like 200,000 to 500,000 to almost a million. You know, and like fuck, even GTA 5 online shows the difficulty of costs and shit like that. Like, it's no wonder why people enjoy the game. It's so realistic, you know?
So all I had to do was focus on just working. Gen Z are a bunch of worse persons. I'm 87 and still working. Definitely.
That's something that she references in the video from another video. I gotta coke.
Not a system failure or anything that people can't retire these days. It has come to my... I'm 87 and still working. Definitely not a system failure or anything that people can't retire these days. It has come to my attention that generations previous to us Gen Zs are telling tittle tattles about how we don't want to work. We're lazy and we feel offended if we can't secure a job.
This is an article that's currently on the screen. I'll go ahead and read it aloud. Managers don't want to hire Gen Z workers. Cities citing a lack of soft skills. Survey says. And on the bottom there's a caption that says, y'all actively don't want to hire Gen Z, so why complain that Gen Z doesn't want to work? Maybe give us a chance, hello?
Yes, Richard, I'm so offended that I can't feed myself this week. I'm so excited to be going homeless and not being able to pay for my rent because I couldn't secure a job. I think that a large portion of people who shit on Gen Z for having this sort of collective...
I'm sorry, hold on. Gen Z doesn't want to work. I have to put over 200 applications for every type of job and haven't gotten any interview or call back. No one will hire, and the minimum wage is $12, while the cost of living is over 4,000 plus a month.
Couldn't secure a job. I think that a lot.
And this is like TikTok captions and clips and stuff like that. Here's another one. When an older person starts saying, "Well, back in my day, people actually wanted to work. Your generation is just lazy."
Large portion of people who shit on Gen Z for having this sort of collective doomer mindset.
And then there's a tweet from someone. Nobody wants to work anymore because working doesn't work anymore.
The future ahead.
Which is valid. I honestly agree with that one. No one wants to work anymore because working doesn't work anymore. It's a fucked up thing, but like it's true. Most people nowadays just don't want to work because the work itself is too exhausting. It's too excessive. It's too exploitive, honestly. And it's, in my opinion, it's very exploitive. Like, you've got multiple different times where you're being told that you need to do more when you're already doing enough. You're always being like sidelined or put into situations where you're kind of put in this sense of cluelessness, like you don't know what's going on, and you're never gonna know what's going on because people are over here like, oh, it's a secret. You had to have been there, sort of thing. And I'm like this is something that happened to me, because like I was working my shift one day, talking, hanging out with people. This one dude, I thought he was very cute. I thought he was very, very cute. Also reminded me of my old Pathfinder's teacher, but aside from the point, he was telling a story to, or like he was like making a reference to something from a while back, and I was like, hey, what's up? I want to be involved. And he was like, oh, you would have had to have been there. Sorry. And in my head, I'm like, are you fucking joking right now? You're telling me that, like, I think I asked, I was like, then why are you bringing it up if it was something that happened so long ago? And it was like, well, because it was kind of funny. And, like, yeah, it was a long time ago, but, like, I don't know. I might tell you later. 1 to 3 months later, after this story was told, I was never given the context. And that same dude later on saw me carting, putting away some carts, like reloading the bay, basically. And as I'm passing him, he's like, pick up the pace, slacker. Ooh, that shut my fucking brain down so badly. That was the day that I was just like, wow, okay, I'm a slacker. Got it. Cool. I see where I am now. Got it. So I'm not gonna be doing a whole lot then. Just to show you guys what a real slacker looks like. I'm doing what I want. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm not doing the bare minimum. I'm not doing less than. I'm actually doing more than all my other fucking workers. So why are you telling me that I need to do more? And why are you calling me a slacker when you're over here, you're talking shit, and you're over here, and you're like, you're not even doing anything. You're just out there doing your own fucking thing. You're the one that's slacking. Why are you projecting on me? Like, I got so fed up on that one. Not because I got offended at it. I mean, I was, because slacker is a very offensive term. Like, you only call someone a slacker if they're actually being a slacker. I was not being a slacker. I know for a fact I was not being a slacker. Yeah, he was over here calling me a slacker when I wasn't being a slacker. Like, bitch, what? First of all, there is a need for maintenance. There is a need for a technician. There's a need for a repair guy over there, because so many fucking things at that Sims Club do not work. Also, for context, for anyone who's been very curious on the travel time, from my job to my home. It was about 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes tops. So I live in Rio Rancho. My work was technically on the edge of Albuquerque, so I was living on the edge of the cities, basically. Like I was traveling from edge to edge. I was over here going through Piltover and shit, dude. Here's how I've always seen my city in Albuquerque, right? So we got Rio Rancho, this very small rural urban town on the edge of butt fuck nowhere. And we got Albuquerque, the little big city. Rio is Zon. Piltover is Albuquerque. Because there's no fucking way that bad shit does not happen over there. Just like in Piltover, bad shit is always happening over there. And just like in Zon, bad shit is always happening over there. It may not seem like bad shit is happening over in Piltover, but bad shit is happening in Piltover. Just like it may not seem like bad shit's happening in Albuquerque, but bad shit is happening in Albuquerque. Anyways, sorry, slight tangent. Just wanted to say that real fast because that was a process going through my brain.
Would really get off their righteous high horse and just take a look for a second.
I hate that, dude. When I tell my mom a 9 to 5, the rest of my life would make me depressed, and she tells me to get used to it. That's how life is.
At the future that we are inheriting from them. Cost of living is out of control. A large percentage of Gen Z has little chance of buying a home like previous generations did successfully.
This is an ad for a new home in like the 1980s for 60s, from what I can tell. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, screen porch, carport. Monthly payments $47.97. Total price $7,450.
Food is the most expensive that it has ever been. We are constantly seeing on our social media timelines children starving to death under rubble due to a genocide that we have no fucking control over, which inevitably brings people down if you have any sort of fucking empathy, even a heart. And every single day, these are the things that are depleting Gen Z because it seems that no matter how loud we scream, no matter how much we talk about these issues, nothing ever gets done about it because we're pussies and we're woke and we're all this, that, and the third. You raised us, mind you, and to top it all off, jobs are harder.
Take that clip. Why is getting a job as a teenager so freaking difficult? I've applied to 9 different jobs and none of them have responded. I hate it here. Hashtag I hate it here.
They want more from you, but they refuse to pay you that margin that you need to be able to live comfortably well within your means.
I was literally talking about this not 10 minutes ago. Jobs want more for you, but they won't pay the extra amount for you to do that. They won't pay you overtime. And I was just like, and I don't remember if I got bribed with overtime or anything like that, but like I don't think I got paid overtime because I tried to help once on overtime. Like I was still clocked in, or I guess. Oh wait, no. Yeah, I was still kind of clocked in, and I worked a little bit overtime to try and fix a thing that I fucked up. God, I had so much anxiety while working there. It was horrid. It was so bad, dude. I mean, like, I did a lot of good, and I feel like I was very kind to the customers, despite my naturally unfiltered nature. I think I only cursed at one customer. I'm so very sorry. It is one thing that I might have said, that I'm pretty sure I said to one customer, because I fucked up. I will completely admit that right now. In this situation, I fucked up. So I was helping this, like, I don't want to be rude and say that she was 50, but she needed assistance with the groceries and stuff like that. So I went on ahead, and being the very bubbly and active person that I am, I went on ahead and I helped her out. And while putting away her yogurts, they had kind of slipped out of my hand, and I tried to catch them, but I ended up dropping them. And I was freaking out. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Can I get you a replacement or anything like that?" Like I was nervous. I was so scared. And she was just like, "Dude, it's fine. Relax. You're good. You're fine." I was like, "Okay, I'm very very sorry, ma'am. I That was not intentional. I'm so sorry." And I guess that's what most people will probably call ass kissing. But like, I don't try to ass kiss a lot of the time. My form of ass kissing is more trying to make sure that I have not offended the person by making the mistake. I mean, I've seen many people get offended because of mistakes that I've made, or mistakes that other people have made. The only person that's ever gotten mad at a mistake that I made was, I might have accidentally cursed at someone because I was getting so annoyed at the fact that this dude was just leaving his cart there. I didn't hear the cargo. I didn't hear anything making it seem like the card vanished or anything like that. So here's what's happening in the story. I'm walking with like 10 carts, and I'm trying to make sure that all the carts are in the same place and stuff like that. And while I'm doing this, I'm just thinking, put your fucking carts in the goddamn corral, you goddamn idiots. And I'm not saying that like people are idiots. Yes, I am. Let's be real here. I'm saying more that people don't know how to put certain things away, or they feel like they can't, and they feel like we're the convenience. So they just go on ahead and put it where they feel like is really a good place to put it, and it's not. You're putting it in like in parking spaces where people actually have to go in there, damaging the carts and all of that. Not to mention that you're also making it very difficult for the cart guys to actually put the fucking carts away. Sorry, I'm going on a rant. I'm getting really loud and very energetic. It's 10. It's almost 11. I shouldn't be this loud, but here I am, being this loud. And before anyone says anything about this, yes, I know that it's Saturday and I know that I should be taking a break, but like, I need an outlet to express this, and I don't have a therapist, so this is my next best thing. um, but yeah, so like, I'm not okay with how shit's ran because like you do one small thing and you get criticized for it. You do one big thing and you're expected to do more. You're not expected to do more or less. You're expected to do what you need to do. You're expected to do what you can do, and you're expected to do what you're able to. You cannot always go full throttle into a situation if you don't know how to go full throttle in that situation. That is something that I have learned from my time at working. And again, this was in early to mid 2022, whenever I started working, whenever I had an actual job. But here's the thing, I'm a Gen Zer. I managed to get a job. But here's the other part of that is that the job did not want to work with me. The job did not appreciate what I was doing. The job did not appreciate that I was doing my 100%. No, instead they wanted me to go at 110% or like 150% and leave me out to dry whenever I've just been slaving about. Where's the equality in that? Because that's honestly what I feel like is needed in the workforce is equality and equity. Equity and equality simultaneously.
So I'm sorry that
It is so outlandish that to not want to generate even more wealth for a company that doesn't want to pay people. Wait, is it so outlandish to not want to generate even more wealth for a company that doesn't want to pay people a living wage? TikTok thing. Genji doesn't want to work. I'm not working 40 years for a company that doesn't give a fuck about me. Sorry.
Gen Z
Literally,
cheaper about going.
like, jobs don't give a shit. They give a shit about numbers, not the people. They give a shit about the status, not the function. They give a shit about the work and not the relief. There's a lot that you can do. There's a lot that you can do as a whole for a company. But are you gonna sit there and waste your days trying to do something when nothing about it is getting really done about it? Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like, if you're working for a company that doesn't care about how you're getting it done or the means of what you're doing to get it done, do you still think that company is a company that you still want to work for? Because you're getting everything done, but you're doing it by hiding so much and by expressing so little. You can't get everything done if you don't have enough to be able to work with. And that's what most people are kind of like saying nowadays is that like the efficiency of the job economy has gone to shit because most people nowadays expect more instead of expecting less. You can't expect more from workers. You can't expect more from customers. You can't expect more from the job economy. You know, everything has to be minimalized for a very specific reason. And if you can't minimalize it, you're gonna have to work with it. And unfortunately, working with it means dedication, but dedication for a very particular thing. That's my 2 cents.
To work just to have nothing to build other people up. Meanwhile, they're just kicking us down. I mean, we have had to witness our loved one.
Tell our fathers to work harder. They have been working since their youth. It's not fair to their work. It's not fair. It's not their hard work that failed. It's corruption that stole their reward.
Work themselves, kill themselves at work.
Yeah.
And still, it's an issue because Gen Z is loud about it.
The retirement age is getting higher whilst wages are getting lower. Wait, so at what point do we admit that the 5-day work week was built for a world that doesn't exist anymore? Damn, okay.
He openly complains about these issues. Like, dude, the system isn't just failing Gen Z, it's failing you too. And it wants you to believe that somehow Gen Z is the enemy.
And by the end of the day, they just want to make the enemy into someone that they can easily target. They're bullies. Every single person in the every single person in this bullshit system that we live in is a fucking bully. Because they're kicking us down. We're trying to build ourselves back up, but they keep on doing it over and over and over and over again. Most people are over here like, I'm not dealing with this shit anymore. You're gonna do this. I'm just gonna step away from that. I don't need that. I don't need this. I don't need to be involved in any of this. Like, no. What are you doing? What type of nonsense are you trying to pull right now? Like, are you serious? The fuck?
When we're quite literally your kids, are we not? Most of us, it is a fact of everyday life, but wants you to believe that somehow Gen Z is the enemy when we're quite literally your kids, are we not? Most of us, it is a fact of everyday life, but to some Gen Zers, it's an offensive slur. Saying Z instead of Z should be considered a f***ing offensive slur. And maybe I am pausing a little bit too soon. But if this is referring to tweets you see with the O in job being said,
Good morning to everyone except for the people who have a job.
it is quite literally a f***ing joke. Like, maybe it's about damn time they'll hire a Gen Z anchor to explain all of this to you. Oh, but no, that's right. That's not the problem here. It's not the fact that you guys have no f***ing clue what's going on. You're a lot smarter than that. It doesn't suit the mainstream media narrative to actually
Censored isn't being spelt like that because Gen Z finds it offensive. It is a joke. It may not be funny to you, but it's a joke nonetheless. Starting my job in an hour. Wish me luck.
people what the is going on and why Gen Z doesn't want to work. Just like every other generation, by the way, I don't know who actively is like, yep, I really want to work hard for somebody else, not for myself, God. Welcome to furthering the divide amongst...
Oh, another tweet. This is exactly what these news channels want us to believe, LMAO. The main problem with Gen Z is that they think they're the first generation of young people to ever struggle. They don't believe in having to work for anything. They want politicians and employers to coddle them, just like mommy and daddy do. I don't need lectures on politics from young adults who don't know their own social security numbers and can't solve problems. And can't solve a problem without phoning 5 friends.
this population today
Really?
show or whatever the
Okay, no. I need to stop. I've been doing so many different things on my own that I don't need people to really coddle me that much. Do I need reminders? Yes. Do I need to have possible set timers for certain things? Possibly. Do I depend on every single person in my life to do every single little thing for me? No. No. What type of fucking bullshit are you trying to pull up in this bitch right now? Because that ain't some shit that I want. That ain't some shit that I'm involved with. Like, what are you trying to do, girl? Girl, sit the fuck down with that shit. No. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, man. We're not doing this. No. Gen Zers are probably one of the most dependent people of most of them. Oh, I'm ranting. I'm ranting. Don't question it. I found a video talking about how Gen Zers don't want to work. It's not us that don't want to work. It's work that doesn't want to work. And this video explains fully what the fuck it means. Um, by the end of this, you'll be able to watch this through the VOD. But for right now, just sit back, relax, enjoy the show, enjoy the rants because I'm not even done yet. Hello.
Guys, call yourselves, but I digress. As I report
So I'm gonna back up a little bit.
narrative to actually tell people what the is going on. This is
I mean, you should speak for yourself about yourself because unfortunately that is the case with some of your gen. If you can't speak for yourself, how are you going to be able to stand for yourself? That's where my brain goes. But yes, it is harder to find work, but some just refuse to do it, and I think that's who they mean. That's Here's the issue though. They're putting all Gen Zers in a whole entire collective and saying that none of the generation wants to work. That's what they're saying. That's what the narrative is right now, is that none of Gen Z wants to work because everyone thinks that we're lazy POSs. Not the people just struggling to find work, but the people who refuse work. No, the people who refuse work because work doesn't want to work for them. And I'm not saying that as in like work doesn't want to call them. That's not what I'm saying. Work doesn't want to give them what they've been properly owed. Is what I'm trying to say. Like what would be a older generation thing of like 17K for, or like 7K for a small house with 2 beds. You know, that's what this is kind of talking about, is that like because of the inflation and everything like that and so many different factors, prices have gone so high up, but job wages are just so minimal nowadays that they don't even seem like they fucking matter. Like they don't seem worth all of that effort. And like she was talking earlier in the video and saying how like 50 years of retirement isn't even worth it because of how much it is, you know? And like regardless of whether or not you're someone of an older generation, the system is still fucking you over because you're still doing work at the age of like 85 or some shit like that, and you haven't been able to retire. You haven't been able to like do a whole lot of shit for the people around you because the system has your economy on a fucking fishing rod, and you are the horse on the lead at all times. You know, it's like that one political that one political drawing. I don't know if anyone knows it. It's like two government officials or some shit like that, or like a set of government officials on an elephant. The elephant is the worker, and in front of the elephant is a carrot that is in the shape of a dollar. So it's just like, I don't know. For me, it's kind of putting that analogy into actual progress. And the person who made this video, Drama Queen, she actually states how nowadays it just feels dystopian. It feels utterly dystopian to live in this world nowadays. And we're gonna be getting into that shortly, but I just wanna say that real fast and kind of back up a little bit.
Instead of Z, still, it's an issue because Gen Z is loud about it. Gen Z openly complains about these issues. Like, dude, the system isn't just failing Gen Z, it's failing you too. And it wants you to believe that somehow Gen Z is the enemy when we're quite literally your kids, are we not?
Most of us, it is a fact of everyday life, but to some Gen Zers, it's an offensive slur.
Saying Z instead of Z should be considered a f***ing offensive slur. And maybe I am pausing a little bit too soon. But if this is referring to tweets you see with the
Tweet example, I'm gonna go ahead and reread it. Good morning to everyone except for the people who have a job, and job is censored. The O is censored in the fucking text. It's fucking wild.
O in job being censored, it is quite literally a f***ing joke. Like, maybe it's about damn time they'll hire a Gen Z anchor to explain all of this to you. Oh, but no, that's right. That's not the problem here. It's not the fact that you guys have no f***ing clue what's going on. You're a lot smarter than that. It doesn't suit the mainstream media narrative to actually tell people what the f*** is going on and clue what's going on. You're a lot smarter than that. It doesn't suit the mainstream media narrative to act.
So I just paused. This is part of the caption that was on there. Job with the censored O isn't being spelt like that because Gen Z finds it offensive. It is a joke. It may not be funny to you, but it's a joke nonetheless. And then under this is a tweet starting my job in an hour. Wish me luck.
Actually tell people what the f*** is going on and why Gen Z doesn't want to work. Just like every other f***ing generation, by the way. I don't know who actively is like, yep, I really want to work hard for somebody else, not for myself, God. Welcome to furthering the divide amongst the...
Here's another tweet. The main problem with Gen Z is that they think they're the first generation of young people to ever struggle. They don't believe in having to work for anything. They want politicians and employers to coddle them just like mommy and daddy do. I don't need lectures on politics from young adults who don't know their own social security numbers and can't solve a problem without phoning 5 friends. This is the thing that set me off. Because, again, I don't need to phone 4 or 5 friends to do one single fucking thing of dishes. I don't need to phone 4 or 5 friends to, like, do the trash. I don't need to phone 4 or 5 friends to vacuum. You know? And the fact that this person in particular says it as if, like, Gen Z is dependent as fuck and are ignorant is just absolutely ridiculous. And I'm just like, are you serious? You're gonna be talking about this whenever you're over here talking shit on X of all places, the one place where cancel culture is an actual fucking thing. Girl, are you high on crack? Are you delusional? Are you mentally unwell? Do you need to go to a psychologist? Oh wait, no, we don't have any more psychologists. We don't have any more psychology. We don't have any more therapy. We don't have any more psychotherapy. It's all frauds.
This population Today Show or whatever the f*** you guys call yourselves.
I'm not saying that as if they don't exist. I'm saying that more as they are very rare and very hard to come by nowadays because of the expenses of, like, living and medical and other things like that. It's difficult, in my opinion.
But I digress.
Insane reporter Mia Glover is getting to the bottom of the latest social media trend for us all this morning. Mia, people are rolling their eyes.
Yes,
Oh,
including
no.
myself, Jane. And good morning again to you. This is because Gen Z take offence to the word job.
No, I'm so afraid. I'm so scared. I'm literally shitting myself actively right now over the word job. Oh my god. Literally get that away from me. Like, that's how these people paint us to be and act like when we hear the word job. When all we're saying is that working our entire
TikTok screenshot. When the US starts moving up the retirement age to 70 so we can work till we die.
lives shouldn't be a thing when we've had to watch our loved ones kill themselves in the workforce, but it's still never enough. When is there enough to give? But we're supposed to sit here and idolize a workforce that has actively
More older Aussies can't afford
harmed our
retirement.
loved ones, and now it's our turn to call out shit for what it is. Look at me in my half-blind ass face and try to explain to me, even until your face is purple, what is so inspiring about the workforce today. The way this world is set up is that you need money to live. But how are we going to act like it's okay that every single day the prices of our daily essentials are going up? Our basic human rights are fucking paywalled, and apparently criticizing that means that we're offended and we're woke crybabies and all this, that, and the third. You people who are saying this kind of shit are trying to hide from the real problem. This is what they do, guys. They say shit to divide us all, and it works so many times. Prices go up, but wages don't want to reflect that.
Yes, J-O-B, as in, why don't you go get a job? A lot of people are asking that question to Gen Zers this morning. They're putting up this social media trend to say they're offended by the word because it evokes feelings of negativity, because sometimes they can't get a job or they simply don't want to. I've taken to the streets of the Gold Coast here to see what people think.
I don't know, ever since like COVID, I kind of feel like no one wants to work. Everyone wants everything, but they don't want to work for it. Yet again.
And it's just painting this picture of us as like lazy bums. Okay. How are we supposed to take that, huh? How are we as a generational community supposed to take that? How are we supposed to be able to get a job and do what we need to do if we are immediately rejected from the first 18 jobs that we ever apply to? You have to apply to 20 jobs nowadays to get an actual job, or 3, because nowadays it takes more than 3 jobs for you to actually survive in the economy. It takes more than 3 jobs for you to be able to stabilize your fucking feet. It is ridiculous with how many fucking things that you need to do in order for you to be able to survive a goddamn day. And what I think is worse is that no one is really saying much about it aside from Gen Zers. Us Gen Z, we call the shit out. We call the bullshit out. That's kind of our thing, is we call out bullshit. If we see bullshit, we're gonna call it out.
A picture is being painted to further divide the younger generation and older generation.
So here's 2 screenshots of separate social media posts. 1, don't hire Gen Zers. They don't know what work actually means. Now hiring baby boomers only, thanks. And then here's a tweet. Gen Z has failed employers. They need to develop work ethic and lose entitlement. And lose the entitlement. What entitlement? It's Palau. Hello. How you doing? Sorry, I'm ranting. And it depends on the situation for it to be bullshit. I would say that the job economy being minimum wage, uh, like this is pretty bad. Oh no, this is a serious stream. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It very much is. I was gonna ask you to play a song. Um, I will probably play a song after this, but yeah, unfortunately, as I said, not you personally, but not a lot of not a lot of the gen aren't like you thinking like you are. Mm, mm. I I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to beg to differ because honestly, it most of us kind of are actually. So far, are we into the rants? How far are we into the rants? Bro, I got out more than you. I see it more often. I had an actual job. I know what it's like to have an actual job. No, a lot of them are self entitled and rude. Sorry, that wasn't the point. Mm, mm, mm. I beg to differ, but okay. No, you know a job. No, you know a job. One job. No, 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 no. I mean, yes, I do have experience of one job, but how else am I supposed to get experience whenever no one else is hiring? How am I supposed to get it more experience when no one else wants to hire our generation? How many times have I gotten anxiety over people not hiring because people don't hire our generation? Don't lie down and accept it. Keep trying. If I was lying down and accepting it, I wouldn't be saying it the way that I am saying it. I'm not saying that I've given up on the workforce or anything like that. I'll come back later. No, it's fine. It's fine. What I'm saying is that the workforce environment has completely just it shat itself. It's a struggle for everyone. I know it's a struggle for everyone, but the job economy shat itself. That's the main point here. I gotta drop my brother off at his interview, which is ironic considering y'all are talking about jobs. Yeah. I wish your brother the best of luck. I hope that he gets the job that he applied for. If he doesn't, it proves my point that Gen Zers are being put in a box. All right, I'll catch you. I'll catch y'all later. Best of luck. Try to stay safe, Pilau.
It's to keep people angry. It's to keep people easily controlled.
No, it just means it wasn't for
so
him.
that we
Again, I really don't think that's the case because a lot of people are not hiring Gen Z people because they all assume that we just don't want to work. It's not that they're not trying, it's not that they're not making the attempt. Most Gen Zers, whenever they do get a job, they do their best, they do what they need to, they do what they can to do the best work that they know that they should. That's not the issue. That's never been the issue. The issue is that the job economy doesn't want Gen Zers to work because they think that they're lazy POSs. And most of the people who end up getting jobs are either baby boomers or a lot older generations because they quote unquote know how to work whenever retirement is at the age of 70. So, how does that explain where we are today? Yeah, well, it's better. It's a better option than just diving into negative takes. You need to stay positive. I am staying positive, but I'm also being very critical about what our society is doing. Our society is literally fucking ourselves over and putting ourselves in a dystopian where our finances are non existent and our home life is living with our family. I'm not saying that as like this is a generational thing. This isn't just a generational thing anymore. It's a system that's directing it at a single generation when it's directed at the entire system as a whole, but they're ignoring it by placing it on a single generation. That's the main point here. It's not about people having jobs. It's not about a specific generation not wanting to work. It's about the system pointing blame to a very particular generation because of a history that has been implanted through general raising and understanding. It's not me trying to be negative. It's not me trying to downplay our system or anything like that. It is me pointing out that we have a problem. It is me pointing out that we have issues. It is me pointing out that we need to do something so that we can have a better economy. Because right now, the economy is shit. Right now, the job systems are shit. Right now, most people can't get a job because most people are judgmental. Most people think that a single generation is unemployable because of a mainstream narrative that most people have put us in, because everyone thinks that Gen Zers are lazy as fuck. And it all comes back to that point of blame being towards Gen Zers, which again is not a negative expression. It is not a point of negativity. It is not a dive into the pool of negativity. It is a critical point that is being made on several different occasions. Okay, but you're not the only person who's pointed this out, but be the change you want to prove. Exactly what I'm doing right now. This is my way of being that change. I am helping by emphasizing the issues that are going on, and I am actually sharing what this person is producing. So all you can do in reality is be different than how they expect. Here's the ironic part, though, is you can't always do that. The reality is that you can't always do that. You can't always be different than how they expect, because they're always going to expect one single thing, and they're always going to keep that one expectation in the back of their minds, because no matter what, that's all that they're going to think. That's all that they're going to have implanted in their head. But the minute that they have that removed is the minute that okay, you're just not listening right now. That's honestly what I'm feeling right now, is that there's no listening going on right now. Yes, there are so many different things that I could do to change this. There are so many things that I could do to try and counteract these things. What actual method is going to be able to be used that can work as a functional method to allow everybody to understand how to fucking do things? You can't be perfect. Someone's always gonna have some negative shit or view. At this point, it's not about having a negative view or not. It's really not. Like, yeah, it's seen as a negative view, but that's not it. That's not it in the slightest. It's about the fact that the negative view is an all-around view. It's worldwide, almost. Like, I know that a lot of people have been talking about this, and I know that a lot of people have been saying things very similar to what others have been saying, but also there are a lot of people who are saying that the mainstream narrative is the true narrative, and that's not the case. That's not the case. The mainstream narrative is the negative perspective. What we're watching right now is the perspective that is actually putting what the narrative is to light. There's a major difference between a negative perspective and a critical perspective. A negative perspective is, oh, everything is shit, no one wants to do this, no one wants to do that, no one wants to do anything anymore. That's not what's being said. What's being said is that the financial aspects of life have gotten so high up that no one's able to live off a minimum wage. The fact that no one is the fact that there are so many people that are struggling nowadays than there were like 50 years ago or like 80 years ago says a lot about how the financial ranking has gone from easygoing to absolute nightmare. The fact that there are so many people who are struggling and making it seem like the Gen Zers don't know how to struggle says a lot about who they really blame. The fact that people say that we are the lazy ones and that we don't know how to work says a lot about what people want as their own fucking coping mechanism. The fact that people are saying that an entire generation is at fault for not working when it's the entire system's fault for having failed us is the most ironic statement that I've heard of today, because I have not seen a single person of my generation or any generation ahead of me be in this sort of in this sort of aspect. I've never seen someone complain about about a job the way that most people think that Gen Zers complain about jobs. I've never once seen that. And yes, maybe I am maybe I am just using one job experience for this whole entire thing. But one job experience can say so much about an entire economy that is supposed to be ran on quote unquote positive energy. Where's the positive energy whenever you're over here literally killing yourself to work? Where's the positive energy? I think you've just stayed on the good side of the internet. If you've never seen that, LMAO, that's fair, but also at the same time, where is the fairness? Where is the healthiness? Where is the mental stability? Where is the financial stability? Where is the emotional stability? It's non-existent. It is literally non-existent. It's never been existent. And I will say this myself, I've not been on the greatest side of the internet. I've always been on the negative side of the internet. I've always been on the side where most people have had bad shit happen to them. I've been on the side where I've seen a lot of bad shit happen. I've been on the side where I've experienced a lot of bad shit, dude. And it's just like, there's nothing worse than being told that you're part of a generation that's being blamed for not working, whatever it's the system and not the generation. And if life isn't fair, then why do we need stability? Why do we need to be mentally well? Why do we need to be physically well? Why do we need to have limits? Why do we need to have certain things that allow us to be our authentic selves? Why does that need to be the case if life isn't fair? If life is not fair, then why is it that we need to have so many of these different things? Because life needs to be fair in order for us to have those things. Life needs to be able to, like, show that it can be fair in order for us to know about how we can do better for ourselves and for the people around us. Fairness in life does not dictate fairness in economy, is the main point here. I don't like saying that, but how it feels. I think every new generation, as the years went on, always got blamed or told similar things. No, actually. No. Not all generations were like that. Yes, there were generations that got picked on and, like, poked and prodded at and stuff like that. And, I mean, shit, there were some generations that got abused in certain countries. But, like, the generational bullshit that we get compared to what other people get, or, like, what other generations have gotten in the past, is completely different. Those generations weren't blasting us on social media telling everyone that Gen Zers, or, like, that Gen Xers were the middest of the mid or anything like that. You know, they weren't telling they weren't saying that like boomers were absolute sluts, you know, like they weren't saying that. They weren't saying that at the time. They haven't been saying that since then. They're saying it now, and now that people are saying it is, and because now that people are saying it, people are just like they're putting it into their day-to-day conversation, and I just there's there's a level of generational bullshit that one generation can take, you know, and there's a level of generational insulting that one can take. This has gotten to the low that no one even wants to be engaged with. This has gotten to the low that no one even wants to see anymore because of how bad it's gotten. This is the kind of low that no one wants to be around because it is literally demeaning. It's literally demeaning the people in that generation. And like, again, back to the video, like Drama Queen says this, they're getting mad at us, but we're their kids. Why do they need to be getting mad at us? We're like, y'all are the ones that raised us. Y'all raised this generation. Y'all are the ones that made this generation. So why are you getting mad at us? Is it because we don't know how to do things? Sorry, that's not our fault. We never really properly learned how because our education system wasn't the greatest. We never probably learned to because every single time whenever we would learn something, it wasn't the right thing. At least for my case, this seemed to have been the case. Again, I'm not gonna express other people's experiences, but I am gonna explain my own experiences and hope that there's people that resonate, because that is honestly annoying to me.
So I got my lunch from the Breeze today, and there's a really cool.
Cause like, what I'm getting from that is you're saying that like we as a generation are the worst generation. Okay, but like there are so much more worse generations than ours. I'm gonna be dead honest. Like, I'm not saying everyone from that generation should just go or anything like that. What I am saying though is that like there are worse generations than ours that have been shown throughout the years. And yet the ones who are worse than us don't even get that much shit, you know. And I'm not trying to start a generation war or anything like that. I'm not trying to reignite that bullshit or anything. I am saying though that like there is a lot about generational bullshit that just seems ridiculous, and I've gotten tired of it. I know several other people who've gotten tired of it, and I know that there are multiple different people out there who are trying to survive despite that generational bullshit. Because just like it isn't all on us, it wasn't on everyone of the previous generations. Not all of us have had the power to make those changes. Not all of us have or had the power to make those changes. That's true. That's very true. And I'm not trying to degrade those experiences of others or anything like that. I respect those who struggled before us. I respect those who had to fight and survive to be able to have the life that we do. But like, also at the same time, this is the life that we fought for. This. I'm just saying, like, and says more about the people in power. Honestly, it does. Agreed. Fully. It does. It says a lot about the people in power, and it says a lot about how they want the world to be ran. Because we're going back to... Oh, God, what was it? We're going back to 2004, it feels like. Or like 2006, or some shit. Like, we're going back to a year where we barely had anything to work with, and we barely had anything to, like, allow us to function as a society. Oh wait, no. That would probably be like the 70s. No, 60s or 70s. Anyways, we're getting put it back into a position where it's pure control. Nothing but pure control. We're going back to being controlled by a government that doesn't give a shit about us. We're being put back into a sense of endangerment because of what the government is doing and how the government is treating the economy and how jobs are done and stuff like that. Like they literally put the mainstream fucking narrative as Gen Z being the laziest fucking generation in any of the generations. And I'm just over here like, are you fucking joking? Are you fucking joking right now? You're really putting this petty ass shit on us whenever, like, y'all are the ones that are fucking up, not us. Sorry, I'm going on a rant. I'm going on way too much of a rant. I do apologize. This gets me heated because I've had to experience generational hate from my own workers, from my own coworkers in the past. So I'm just like, I'm not dealing with that.
To be a mediocre anchor on a morning show that peddles falsities to rile people up. The word sad that you, so that we can, the younger generation and older generations, it's to keep people angry. It's to keep people easily controlled. It's done so that we continue licking the boots of the ones that kick us down and keep us down every single other fucking day. Are you telling me that you weren't sad that you got rejected by multiple news channels to be a mediocre anchor on a morning show that peddles falsities to rile people up? It isn't exclusive to just Gen Z.
So she's saying how it's not just exclusive to Gen Z, which is literally what I was talking about earlier. But like, here's an example: when searching for a decent full-time job at decent pay, and nobody wants to hire a 60-year-old with only 7 years left to work before retirement.
Feeling like crud because they couldn't secure a job. Maybe that Gen Z who is complaining about the fact that they can't find a job and that they are really upset over the fact that they can't find a job has just applied for the 87th.
Here's another one. Tell me why I've applied to over 50 places yet no one is hiring. Yet they have applications up. Make it make sense and give me a job. I got big people things to pay for.
Job, and it's either ghosted them or really upset over the fact that they can't find a job has just applied for the 87th job, and it's either.
Here's another one. Can we stop normalizing companies ghosting you after interviews when they don't want to hire you?
Ghosted them, or better yet, rejected them based off of literally nothing. Yes, Miss gets, I don't know, 200k a year to do this on telly. It depletes one's energy to be told.
Nothing is more draining than applying for jobs and getting denied even though you are so capable.
No,
Literally.
and no, again and again and again, when you quite literally have to make money in order to survive. And quickly touching on what this lady just said here, the one that's being interviewed, I would love to hear what kind of job she has. As yes, there is this collective, what would you say, doomer mindset that everyone seems to have post-COVID, because it really highlighted the issues that we have as a society. There is mass hysteria on top of mass hysteria every single other day, and it is draining us as people of our energy, of inspiration. I can't sit here and judge and blame people for just wanting to kick their feet up and do fucking nothing, bro, because everything changed after COVID. It really did. And you want to stand there and judge people for, wanting things but they don't really want to work for it? I mean, I did not know that was a controversial thing to say. Like, yeah, humans deserve to be better. When was that a controversial opinion? No, you're obviously not entitled to a Gucci belt. But what I think people are entitled to is a living wage. Is to be able to afford things. Yeah, maybe then.
TikTok thing, how it feels spending 30 hours applying to like 30 jobs and not hearing back from a single one.
We wouldn't hear Gen Z.
And she's just on the computer doing a shit ton of like applications and stuff like that. No one wants to hire. And it's back to that point that I made earlier of just like life being fair does not dictate a well job economy. It doesn't. Your life doesn't have to be fair in order for the economy to be fair. Your life doesn't have to be fair in order for you to have equal wages or living wages or shit that actually helps you. It doesn't. It does not dictate. It does not emphasize. It does not correlate to it whatsoever. It does not. Your life can be unfair, but you can have a pretty decent life as well if you choose to. But here's the thing. It's not about choice. It's about the fact that, as Insomniac said earlier, it says more about the people in power. It explains more about how people in power just want to control the narrative and show that people don't give a shit. They show that people don't really give a shit, and the more that people don't give a shit, the more that people are just going to ignore the people in power. Because at that point, it's not the people in power that are being in control anymore. It's the society that the people in power are trying to control. And that's honestly what I feel like it's gotten to at this point, is like the society that we're supposed to be being led by the government to is the society that does not listen to the government to begin with. It doesn't listen. It doesn't want to listen. It doesn't want to acknowledge what the government is saying, because the government is not doing what it needs to do. It's not doing what really is needed to be done so that people can live genuinely decent lives. It's not being... It's not just not being fair, it's being ruthlessly dystopian. So dystopian that not even the most conventional human is able to even survive in this day and age. Like, commissioners who do like art, blacksmithing, weaponry, crafting, all of them, they have to up their fucking prices in order for them to be able to just make fucking bank. And like, some of them don't. Some of them, they have decent prices for what's needed and stuff like that. But there are others out there that are dealing in prices and having to struggle with it because no one's able to properly manage. Because the government doesn't want you to properly manage. It wants you to level out and give to the rich and take from the poor. That's what they want you to do, and that's what they've been wanting you to do for fucking years, from what I've seen and from what other people seen. And what's worse is, again, like she mentioned this earlier, previous generations who are under 70 are killing themselves to try and continue working so that they can make a better pay. It's not a problem with Gen Zers. That's the main point here. It's not a problem with Gen Zers. It has never been a problem with Gen Zers. It has been a problem with people in power. It has been a problem with people in job economy capabilities. It has been an issue with people who have been very judgmental with the people that they're hiring. It is an issue on several different fucking fronts, my guy. And I'm just like, I'm not with it because, again, I'm stating this for the final time. You can have an unfair life, but still have a decent job economy. Without that, without that decent job economy, your life doesn't just become unfair; it becomes unruly. It becomes depressing. It becomes miserable. It becomes heartbreaking because you can't survive. You can't survive on minimum wage. You can't survive on doing the bare minimum. You get, you have to be paid life wages in order for you to survive. You have to be able to be paid what is properly owed instead of what is felt like is owed. That's not how life works. You can't go about life getting what you feel like you're owed instead of what you're properly owed. Having the skill set to be paid what you're properly owed, then having the skill set to be paid what you feel like you're owed are two completely different things. What you feel like you're owed and what you are properly owed are two completely different things. What you feel like you're owed is equivalent to what you are actually owed, which is probably about like $20 $20 every 10 hours because of how minimal of how minimal your skill set is and how minimal you work. Paying what you're properly owed is equivalent to paying what you've been working, like what you've been working to. If you are being paid $14 an hour every single day, then you are going to be paid the exact payment that you should be paid. If you're not, then you're doing the bare minimum, or you're doing everything that you can, but the people that you're being paid by are not seeing what you're really doing and are ignoring you and are saying, "Oh, you're just a number, but here we'll give you the credit and we'll give you the cash to let you survive for a week or so." How are you supposed to survive a week whenever you can't even survive 30 days without having to go to the store for the third fucking time? How? Where's the fairness? Where's the proper payments in that? Where's the I keep asking the same questions, but same questions don't get answered because they can't get answered. Because people don't care about the progress, they care about the numbers. They care about what's done. They care about how it's done. They care about how functional the person is, not how they're doing, not why they're not functioning a specific way, not what they could do to help get that functionality into place or anything like that. No, they just care about what you're doing, how you're progressing. They don't care about how you're doing it. They don't care about how your brain's taking it or anything like that. They just care about what you're doing, how you're doing, and how well you're doing it. And whilst that is a pretty good mindset to be in, another good mindset to be in as well is how well are your workers handling the work? Ask that. For those who are in the workforce or are in the job economy, and you're like a boss or you're a manager or you're something like that, ask your employees, how are they handling the work? How is your brain processing the work? And is there anything that can be done to help process it a little bit better? Is there anything that can be done to help make the work easier? Maybe sometimes you need to suggest something. Maybe sometimes you just need to enforce a certain thing. But whatever you need to do, make sure you're doing it with the employee's health in that thought process. Because I've seen many people who've been wanting to work as like a boss or a manager or something like that. And they have the skill to do it. They have the capability to do it. But because of one variation or another, they can't. Because people don't want to hire them as such. People don't want to get rid of that job because they want that control. Because they want to be able to have that control. Because they want to be able to take on that control and make it seem like the other people around them are meaningless. Now, for me, I'm not going to say that that was something that I specifically experienced, but I would say that that is something that my work environment did teach me. I asked my manager if I could switch positions, and he was like, I kind of don't want to because we don't really have the space for it. I will let you know whenever there is availability for it, um, and we can move you. That's the conversation that I got. That happened 2 months ago, before I quit. From what it felt like, maybe it was like 3 weeks ago before I quit, but it was a longer time than necessary for that to have honestly been the case. Now, for those who are curious as to why I was trying to switch positions, my body was not processing things the way that it needed to process things. I would get blisters. I would be constantly in pain. I would feel like I was doing so little, but I was doing so much at the same time. I was klutzy. I was being way too excessive with certain things. It was awful. It was awful. The only way that I can describe it is awful. Because there's no other way for me to be able to describe it, because that's all that it was. It was awful. And when I tried to switch, I was getting told that I needed to do more, that I needed to continue doing what I needed to do. And I was getting tired each day for the next few weeks. Until my assistant manager came up to me and explained to me, either you do the work or you quit, because I'm not dealing with this anymore. And that was the day that I quit. That was the day that I got tired of being the jabbing stock. That was the day that I got tired of being the haystack that everyone's just stabbed at. Because that was the point where I was just like, you know what? If this is the treatment that I'm just going to be getting for most of the time that I'm going to be working here, I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to work here. I don't want to be in this environment. I don't want to be involved in this sort of energy. I'm done. I didn't quit because I felt like I wanted to. I quit because I felt like it was the only way that I could actually be able to continue living my life without feeling like I was killing myself. And that's honestly all that I felt like I was doing at that point, was I was killing myself. Slowly. And while dark humor, I am all for I am for a slow unaliving. It's not something that I would rather it not. It's not something that I'd rather happen, in all honesty. I don't actually encourage it. I'm not trying to glorify it. My humor is just very dark, and that's where I'm at with it when it comes to that, in all honesty. But yeah, And I'm sorry, this is gonna sound selfish to me, but if I'm dying of old age or a heart attack. One of the two, because I would rather die quick and painless death than to have to deal with slow, constant death. Again, I'm not trying to glorify it. I'm not trying to say that it is okay to do these things. But if I had a choice, I'd rather choose that over the other choice. And that's honestly how I felt. And I think that's a lot of what my generation feels when it comes to that sort of thing. So that's my opinion. Opinions are valid. Our opinions are appreciated. Opinions are not and do not become opinions after an insult. That's just an insult. So that's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, so continuing on.
And judge people for, it's a controversial thing to say. Like, yeah, humans deserve better. When was that a controversial opinion? No, you're obviously not entitled to a Gucci belt. But what I think people are entitled to is a living wage, is to be able to afford things. Yeah, maybe then we wouldn't hear Gen Z constantly yak about how they can't find jobs.
Well, I'm 81 and I'm still working on my job. Get real.
Nah, mate, you should get real. Because do you not see the inherent issue with the fact that you're 81 still working? When is enough people? Don't you think the way the system is set up is proven to fail time and time again? If a man nearing the end of his years still cannot enjoy the fruits of his labor because he is held down every day, this man is still having to give up his time and effort, his body, mind, and soul to a system that isn't working anymore. I mean, it just upsets me, despite the fact that he goes get real at the end. The fact that he's gonna have to get up at 5 o'clock.
Chat, sorry, I need to like check on this real fast. Can y'all hear the audio? Is the audio from my TV audible for you guys? I'm gonna back up a little bit, play the video. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Is proven to fail time and time again. If a man nearing the end of his years still cannot enjoy the fruits of his labor because he is held down every day, this man is still having to give up his time and effort, his body, mind, and soul to a system that isn't working anymore. I mean, it just upsets me, despite the fact that he goes get real at the end. The fact that he's gonna have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and break his back to pay the bills that should already be taken care of because he's 81. At what point have you given enough? Showing up for work and you're just continuing to build something for someone else. Meanwhile, you can't live out any of your passions and you possibly will never be able to do anything that you want to do in your fucking heart because the greedy, wealthy bastards of this world want to keep us all down. They don't want us to have anything. And it's sad. These older folk
will in effect be independently wealthy, with government benefits. Even non-working families will have, by one estimate, an annual income of $30,000 to $40,000 in 1966 dollars. How to use leisure meaningfully will be a major problem. Or how to use leisure meaningfully will be a major problem. Time, February 25th, 1966. October 19th, 1967. By the year 2000, people will work no more than 4 days a week and less than 8 hours a day, with legal holidays and long vacations. This could result in an annual working period of 147 days on and 218 days off.
Actually had a future to work towards, whereas we feel like we don't. It's easy for people in privileged positions to spout the sentiment of, people just don't want to work anymore. They don't want to work hard for anything. But they never actually seem to touch on why that is.
Southwest has daily
Shut up.
flights from out.
Shut up. See, this is like I honestly kind of hate to say this, but this is why I'm going full-time streamer. I don't want to have to deal with this. I don't want to have to involve.
Here it is. I just got off an 8-hour shift at work where I make double minimum wage in my state. I hop in my car, check my banking app. Cool, I've got $50 to last me till next week. Then I remember, I have to run to Walmart because the wire in my bra snapped. I don't have underwear because it keeps going missing. My eyelash curler broke, and I have no food. I bought 4 things. 4 fucking things, and it came out to $40.
It is unreal that people are having to struggle this much. And, one could argue the fact that you don't need a bra. And coming from a person who thinks that she has sad nipple syndrome, because I swear, guys, I have to wear a bra, otherwise my mini pepperonis touch fabric. I will have a meltdown, and do not dare try and diagnose me with anything in the comments, okay? I, for the life of me, need a bra. But it's like, we should not be having to sit here justifying our needs in purchasing our needs, all because this economy is because people in the comments were telling her, oh, you can just go buy a bra from the thrift. Bruh, you should just be able to buy one brand new. That's the problem.
I'm living off granola bars. But I hop my depressed ass back in my car, and I look at my banking app again. Oh, cool, I've got $10 now to last me till next week. I try to drive, but my car keeps misfiring. I can't afford to fix that, so I keep on parking, turning off my car, turning it back on, until it decides to act right. 30 minutes later, I'm finally heading home to my...
I saw this clip in particular, and the first person that I thought of whenever I saw this chick in particular was my sister, because she has severe anxiety. I think she's got high anxiety, honestly. But if it involves anything to do with finances or anything like that, she breaks down fully. And I'm not saying that as like a jab at her or anything like that. What I'm saying is that her mind puts on so much stress because of how little amount of economy that we have as a whole. She can't fix her car. She has this very, very fabulous Volkswagen Beetle that is Herbie themed. It's a great car. It works great. It works fabulously. But it's also busted. So like, she's having to work her ass off to try and get as much to buy a specific part that she cannot get anywhere else aside from this specific place. And every time whenever she has to buy a new part, it's like a new thing happens and she just breaks down even more. The fact that the breakdowns happen even in the slightest because there's so little amount of income says so much about not only what the people in power are intending, but also what the people in power are showing by making us live the way that we are living right now. And this isn't me trying to be like, I'm gonna commit on a strike or anything like that. No, this isn't me trying to do that. This is me saying that what we're going through as a whole entire multi-generational human society is that everyone is failing, not because we're failing each other, but because the government is failing us. It's the main point here throughout all of it, is that the government is failing us. It's been failing us for years, and it's just going to keep on failing us until we do something about it.
Which would end the work week off with around $125–$130. However, a loaf of bread a week was 40 cents. Eggs were under $1, and you could still get a gallon of milk for a couple of bucks. This grocery ad from a newspaper back in 1987 from the courtesy of Reddit, the prices of food match the wages, that's for sure. Unfortunately, in the times that we're currently living in, food prices have risen to an astronomical level, forcing people to either eat barely anything or eat like shit in order to survive. It's not that Gen Z doesn't want a job. Gen Z does want to.
Gen Z doesn't want to work. Yes, we do. The issue is no one is hiring us.
Work. This is just, it's slander. It's cope to hide the fact that wealth is being hoarded.
Rich is getting richer. Income for the richest 1% in U.S. has dramatically outpaced income growth for the rest of society, according to average after-tax income data. In 2010, the top 1% of rich motherfuckers ended up getting over 11 1.1 million. Meanwhile, everyone else is stuck with under 50K to under 100,000.
By the elites. They must love seeing us dickheads fighting amongst each other for literal scraps. Meanwhile, they have never had to think a day in their lives where the food is going to come from, where the rent money is going to come from, how the kids' school books and school clothes are going to be paid for, because these people, for the most part, were born into it. A lot of people have this idea that you can just become a billionaire. No, you literally fucking can't. It's generational wealth and exploitation that does that, but whatever. Americans are burning paid time off just to sleep instead of travel. 43% of millennials admit they've used paid vacation days to stay in bed.
That was a tweet by a tweeter named Dextero.
That is probably because that 43% of millennials do not have the means to go and travel and would just like a couple of days to themselves because the workforce is exhausting, which doesn't even begin to repair your mind, body, and soul to keep on working, to be happy, to have a mentally sound mind. There's quite literally no work-life balance. And universe forbid people try to take back their stolen energy from the workforce that works them to the bone. This also comes as a consequence to people being overworked. It is normal for people these days to have between 2 to 3 jobs in order to provide for themselves.
There's a TikTok.
It's
I'm
two people
backing up
being
for a second.
overworked. It is.
It's normal for people to have three more than three jobs, like I said earlier. And then here's the thing. Here's the little TikTok thing. It says, when I already have two jobs and I'm a full time student and I need to get a third to survive.
Normal for people these days to have between 2 to 3 jobs in order to provide for themselves and their families. But it's still not enough. But Gen Z complaining about working for 40 years straight and having
Another TikTok. Cried during my lunch break because I can't imagine working for another 40 years.
nothing to show for it is the problem. You're only uncomfortable hearing this shit because you know it's true. To Brandon in top.
And here's a Twitter. Actually, Gen Z is failing themselves. They are lazy, just like their Gen X parents. No generation is lazy. This is just clear bias because people don't want to fight for scraps anymore.
Generation of human beings that a lot of you produce, by the way, is failing to see how the system set up in place is failing all of us. It doesn't inspire people to work hard anymore because the harder people work.
Two TikToks. First one. All I do is work 7 days a week, 60 plus hours a week. Have no time for anything, and feel like I'm behind in life. Here's the other one. Me, because I work all the time and never have time to hang out when people ask.
The less time they get on Earth to actually enjoy shit. It almost feels pointless because the harder you work, the more expensive shit gets. The harder you work for somebody else, and boom, there's just a couple of $1 million that has just been added into the assets and the wealth of the top 5%. And it's kind of just like, dude, why do people of previous generations have such a problem with hearing this shit? But let's be
The reason why here's my theory. The reason why is because most of the people of older generations are so used to it, they don't know that it's a problem. Theory 1. Theory 2 is that 90% of the people who are doing this shit are likely to be really, really, really rich and are just like, oh, it's fine. Let's just go ahead and start this. Yes. No. No. You need to get that evil Knievel ass bullshit out of here right now before I just go fuck out of here with that bullshit. There's another tweet. These Gen Zs are too lazy and don't want to work. Back in my day, we pulled ourselves up by our doorsteps, by our bootstraps, and saved up to buy a house on a part-time wage.
brag on about this and not the greedy rich dickheads who put us in this predicament in the very first place. You know what's really funny? I live in a rental. I don't get to speak to a property manager anymore because I got an email the other day that any issues that I have with my rental, even if it's really severe and dangerous and life-threatening, I have to talk to an AI bot. Yeah, that's right, an AI bot virtual assistant that will help me if electrical issues and whatnot. Like, what everyone is failing to understand here is that everything just feels dystopian and strange and like not real life, because I don't remember this happening pre-COVID. These companies go ahead and try and cut as many costs as they can so that they don't have to put it back into the pockets.
Chat, for those joining in, hello. Welcome to Shafana Lounge. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a fun day. I would put this on emote only right now, but I don't have the capability of doing so at the moment. We are currently reacting to a video that I'm really resonating with, honestly, and I need to talk about. So, I've been ranting for the past few hours. If you are new, please do check out the VOD. I'm probably going to be putting it on my YouTube as well. If you want to see it, please do so. I'm fully encouraging it. But honestly, this is wild.
Of the people who should be paid to do these jobs. I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk to a fucking AI robot. I want to talk to a human being about my issues. But the greed only continues, and we are all experiencing it. Gen Z is the laziest generation in US history. Y'all say this, but there's absolutely no evidence to back up these claims time and time again. You guys just think you're better than us because you bottle up all of that rage and all of that frustration and those complaints that you should be damn well fucking voicing because they are real concerns. This just isn't working the way that it once did back when yous were kids. And even then, it was gonna fail people sooner or later, and now it's actually happening on a larger scale. And y'all take this shit out on people who did not wrong you. Gen Z aren't the enemy. And you guys keep thinking that we're the enemy because we're voicing our concerns and we're complaining and we're saying some very valid points. But a common theme with these generations is the fact that they're just scared of the unknown.
I wanna kind of point out real fast before anything. I put in the hashtags. I know a lot of people don't look at the hashtags, but I put in a hashtag. I put in my own hashtag called Save the Job Economy. I want to start a movement, and that's the movement name. Hashtag Save the Job Economy. If y'all are really, really, really wanting to help the job economy, maybe survive, maybe like try to emphasize on that need for survival, hit the help the job economy or save the job economy hashtag. Just put in hashtag save the job economy. Lady split. Do what you need. Do what you feel like you need to. Do what you feel like is necessary. Live life how you feel like you need to. And how you want.
Scared of change. And we see that time and time again. They want things to constantly stay the same, even if it is consequential to their lives. I'm sorry, but I'm a loud person. I'm not willing to keep shit to myself just to make other people comfortable, especially when these issues quite literally affect us all. There are some issues that affect people more than others. Nobody likes working. Nobody wants to work. But people do work because they know that they have to in order to survive. It is not a bad thing to complain about that. Yes, take pride in what you do every day in life. But for some people, their reality isn't going to be as chipper. So with all of that being said, everybody, thank you so much for your time today. And I would love to hear about anything that you're experiencing down the comment section below. Not that I love that you're experiencing it, but I think that Yappersville has really fostered a community where we can come together and we can talk about things without fear or rejection, because this drama queen will forever and always be a safe space for any fucking body. Any fucking body. Just as long as you're not a bigoted piece of shit. Take care of yourselves and most of all, love your fucking selves.
Love her. Sub for the coolest content on YouTube. But yeah, like it's a struggle, you know? And then of course they got a thing called the Gen Z stare. Oh my god, okay. But yeah, so like it's just I have a lot of things to say about this, but I think I'm just gonna end it by saying that when you're someone who is working constantly and you're stressing over the work that you're doing, it's not you. It's not the environment. It's the environment a little bit. Let me correct myself there. It's not you. It's not the people around you. It's the people that are controlling everything within the job that is at fault. But not only are they at fault, but they are also under the pretenses of other people of power who think the exact same way. So for people like that who think that it's okay to just keep it the way that it is, you're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot. Just straight up. For people out there who believe that it's okay to pressure other people into getting a job, you're a fucking idiot, in my opinion. For people out there who think that it's okay to enforce someone to try and get a job when they don't want to, you're a fucking asshole. Because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know how they're gonna be dealing with this shit. You don't even know if they even want to deal with this shit. You're just like, I don't care. I have to work, so you have to work as well. You're basically saying, I have to suffer, so you have to suffer as well. Do you understand how fucked up that actually is? Do you understand how really ridiculous that is? It is. It is very ridiculous. And in all honesty, I don't believe as a whole that you as a person should be encouraging something that has been making other people suffer. There's suffering for a good cause, and there's suffering just to suffer. And right now, the job economy is suffering just to suffer, because you're not getting paid well. You're not getting paid what you need. You're not getting paid what is necessary. And by far, you're not even able to do what is really needed for you to be able to survive. Now, I'm not saying this as if I'm bigoted or anything like that. I don't believe that I am in the slightest. And if I say something that is bigoted, I really do hope and kind of don't expect people to humble me quickly afterwards. You know, I understand the struggles. I understand what is necessary for you to be able to do um what is given. What I don't understand is why other employers and other jobs and other companies and shit like that refuse to give the option of choice to those who genuinely need it. And they refuse to even give the option of truth as well. They won't say, we don't really need you, but we can call whenever there's a availability. They don't say, we're not really looking for someone of your skill set or anything like that. No, they say, we'll call you, and then they'll just completely ghost. How are you supposed to get an actual job if there's no position for you to be involved in? How are you supposed to get a job whenever there's nothing for you to be able to work towards? How are you supposed to get a job when there's so little amount of resources nowadays that you barely even can have a job? And now people are jobless, not by choice, but because of people's judgments. And for me, that's not okay. You can't not hire someone because you feel like they are immediately a judgeable person. You know, you can't This is a saying that's said a lot. You can't judge a book by its cover until you read it. Until you read the story, until you go through the book itself, you cannot judge the cover. You cannot judge whether or not it is a good story based on the cover. You cannot judge whether or not it is a go to read just based off of the cover. The cover does not always say what is needed to be said. The story itself is the thing that says what's needed to be said more times than not. When you yourself are applying for a job, you are applying to be read, not to be judged. You are applying to be seen. You are applying to be heard. You are applying to be able to demonstrate your skills, not to be judged, not to be told what to do, not to be told how to do it. You are applying to be judged on your skills. You are applying to be judged on your personality. You are applying to be judged on your methods. You are not applying to be judged as a whole. You are not applying to be judged by your stats. You are not applying to be judged by how much you're able to do. You are applying for your story and your story alone. Anyone else who says otherwise is someone who likely has never really had to be in a proper environment where you had to be judged based on character. Because there are many ways that you can judge someone based on their character without having to work. There are many ways to judge someone based on their character without having to go through and apply to a job. And there are many ways that you can judge a person's character just based off of their actions as a whole. But when you're working, your actions and the way that you present yourself are going to be so much more high critical. They're going to be so much more under microscope. They're going to be so much more under a helicopter lens. Because you're always going to be monitored. You're always going to be seen. You're always going to be witnessed. No matter what, you will always have people on you telling you how to live, but also how to learn. When people are not humble, they get humbled. And when people get humbled, they have a reformation. And through that reformation, there is a whole entire status trait that demonstrates the progress of that humility. And it's called regret. In my opinion, the more regret that you have, the more likely you'll be able to work towards something better because you want to go past that regret. In my opinion, there are many ways that you can find a job fun without it being fun. In my opinion, there are many ways that you can make a job fun without it being genuinely fun or entertaining. But also, in my opinion, you honestly should be able to get what you are properly owed, not what people think that you are owed. Because nowadays, people are getting what they think that they're owed, not what they're properly owed. And when I say properly owed, I don't mean like what statistically should be owed. No, I mean what legally should be owed, considering the current life wages and how things are currently being processed nowadays. You know, instead of like $15 an hour, people should be working for like $30 an hour. Instead of being paid of minimum wage of like $11.95, people need to be paid like $25.95 or some shit like that. because the more that you have, the more you'll be able to make as a whole. I'm saying way too much on this. I have way too many opinions on this. I have way too many thoughts on this. I'm just going to end it with, you have your own lives. You have your own methods of being able to process what you can do for your life. Don't let what other people pressure you into doing it a way that you feel like it's not going to be beneficial. Do your job, do what you do for yourself the best way that you know how to do. And be sure to know that people around you are always going to be proud of you no matter what you do. They always will be, they always have been, and it will always be something that you will have in your life continuing on forward in the future. Anyways, I apologize. This was a 2-hour long stream of me ranting about shit that probably shouldn't have been ranted about because it's already been ranted about, but I needed to rant about it anyways. Thank you for joining. Thank you for involving yourself in the stream. Thank you for watching the stream. All forms of support are appreciated and assist in the path to affiliacy. If you're new, don't forget to hit follow notifications. If you're on YouTube, hi, I see you. I appreciate you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to share this, don't forget to share this VOD and share the streams and stuff like that. I love you all. I love being able to engage with you and talk and stuff like that.
This is
Yo, what's going on, everybody? So I wanted to hop on here and tell you guys the story of how I lost one of my close friends to a relationship. I lost him because this girl came into his life, a crazy girl, and things just got out of hand extremely fast. It's actually a wild story. I'm going to try and cover all the key moments because some of them are insane, but if I went fully into detail, this video would be 6 hours long. So I knew this guy my entire...
That's fair. Sorry, but yeah, it's just... It's so... It's so fucked. It's so fucked. Is the only way that I can describe it. It's just, it's so fucked with the world that we're living in right now. Because as John McQueen said earlier, it's dystopian. It feels dystopian. It feels fucked up, honestly. And it's just, oh my god. Like, I'm not saying this as a response or anything like that. I'm more saying this to emphasize on the discussion that's needed. But yeah, so personally, my thing, there's a lot going on just based on so many actual variations and shit. But I'm gonna keep to my thing. I'm gonna, keep doing the full-time streaming and stuff like that as much as I can, as best as I can. If you enjoy these streams, which I hope you do, and I appreciate you if you do, again, don't forget to hit all notifications. Have a fun time. Have a lovely day. Have a beautiful rest of your afternoon. Hopefully, I won't have to go on another rant that's like this again. Yeah. I'll see you guys later. This has been Star Shafana signing off. Bye.